My name is Liam Cross, and before I was crowned the Reddit Revenge King, I was just your average suburban Philly dude whose heart beat for code and one girl. I grew up in a blue-collar hood where the houses always smelled a little damp and the dogs barked their lungs out till the crack of dawn. My dad, a mechanic, would come home with hands stained black with grease, and my mom, a cashier, would read to me before I crashed. They taught me that honesty is the ultimate flex, but the world's got a knack for stomping on the honest ones. Back in high school, I was the skinny, four-eyes kid who got roasted for being a computer nerd. While everyone else was balling out on the court, I was down in the basement, trying to resurrect this ancient Dell my dad snagged at a flea market. By the time I hit 14, I'd whipped up a calculator for my mom's bills. She actually teared up when she saw it. That's when it hit me. Code was my get-out-of-poverty-free card. It's been a hell of a ride, no cap. In high school, I was slinging pizzas to hustle enough dough for a laptop. I was pulling all-nighters, coding away and binge-watching YouTube tutorials. My friends would clown on me, like, "Liam, you dork, who even pays to code?" But I saw my dad breaking his back, and I knew I wanted a different grind. After graduation, I hit up college for IT, but my wallet tapped out after just 2 semesters. So, I bounced and went freelance, building janky websites for local coffee shops. Clients were straight up lowballing me, and I was dreaming of hitting it big with startups, where the future would be written in code. When I was 23, I rolled up to a hackathon in Philly. 48 hours fueled by nothing but caffeine and sheer willpower, and I managed to crank out a blockchain protocol. My team straight up won. Vic, the CEO of CryptoPeak, swaggered up to me on stage, decked out in a jacket that probably cost more than my rent. "Liam, your code's fire," he said, flashing a cheesy grin. "Wanna come work with us?" I almost ate the floor right there. CryptoPeak was the dream. Blockchain, crypto, an office with neon vibes and a killer view of the city skyline. They were talking about revolutionizing everything, and me, this nobody from the suburbs, totally bought into it. Day one, I felt like I was in a movie. Glass walls everywhere, fancy coffee machines that looked like they belonged in a spaceship, and coders in hoodies tapping away at their keyboards. Vic slapped me on the back, all smiles. "Liam, you're a freaking genius. We're gonna change the world, man." He was like a rock star CEO. The slick suits, the corny jokes about his yacht, the kind of charisma that made people eat out of his hand. I looked at him and thought, that's gonna be me someday. But my focus kinda got nerfed when Sarah walked into the picture. She was the HR manager, and honestly, she was the reason I even bothered showing up to work. She was a couple of years older, with this smile that could melt glaciers and eyes you could just drown in. We first met when she brought me a latte. "Liam, you the new guy? Here, try not to fall asleep at your desk." We started vibing over memes, our favorite TV shows, and her dream of opening her own cozy little coffee shop. A month later, after a CryptoPeak party where we were busting moves to some heavy techno, I just blurted out that I was totally head over heels for her. She laughed, but then she leaned in and kissed me, and that's how our thing started. For 6 glorious months, we were inseparable. I'd surprise her with flowers, she'd pack me bomb-ass sandwiches for lunch. We'd wander around Philly, making out in the rain like some cheesy rom-com, and planning a trip to New York. I was even eyeballing rings, picturing the moment she'd say yes. But things weren't always chill. Sarah would get seriously salty when I pulled late-nighters coding. "You love that damn code more than you love me," she'd yell, and I'd feel like a total scrub. I'd apologize, pull her close, and whisper sweet nothings like, "You're my everything." She'd melt for a sec, but then she'd kinda drift away again. I started noticing her getting a little too cozy with Vic, always discussing projects, late into the night. She'd blush like crazy whenever he cracked one of his lame jokes and would always find an excuse to touch his arm. "He's just the boss, babe," she'd say. But my jealousy levels were hitting critical. I tried to ghost those thoughts cause Sarah swore up and down she was all mine. She was my whole world, fam. Mike, another dev on the team, became my go-to bro. We'd code till our eyes bled, argue about anime like it was a matter of national security, and crack open a cold one after a long day. He even showed me some cool hacking tricks, and I thought, this dude's my ride or die. CryptoPeak felt like home, my tribe, but there were shady vibes brewing under the surface. Vic was always locking himself in his office with this investor dude, Carl, yelling about profits and burn rates. Sarah was acting super sus, always hiding reports and jumping if anyone got too close to her laptop. Mike would twitch like crazy whenever I brought up the big deal they were all hush-hush about. I just chalked it up to startup stress. I was grinding hard, dreaming of buying my parents a house, a real upgrade from our old place. But then the whole damn thing imploded. I stumbled upon this gnarly bug in the system. $5 million in Bitcoin just vanished into thin air. My stomach dropped to my ankles. I hauled ass to Vic's office, my heart hammering in my chest. He just waved me off like I was some annoying fly. "Figure it out," he said, his eyes cold and distant. The next morning, the cops barged into the office, sirens wailing. "Liam Cross, you're under arrest for theft. The evidence? My login credentials and a crypto wallet registered in my name." I tried calling Sarah, my hands shaking so bad I could barely dial. She hung up on me. "Sarah, it's me. Pick up." Finally, she answered, her voice all shaky. "Liam, I love you, but Vic's been pushing me." What the actual hell did that even mean? I tried Mike, hoping he could shed some light on this nightmare. "I'm sorry, man," was all he said, his voice flat and lifeless. Then Vic chimed in, his voice dripping with menace. "Just admit it, kid, or you're going to jail." My parents looked at me with this heartbreaking mix of disbelief and shame, like they couldn't believe their own son could be a thief. Social media went wild, with headlines screaming, "IT guy steals $5 million. My life was officially canceled." But then, a glimmer of hope in the form of a cryptic letter showed up in my mailbox. "Look for the code on the old server." Was it a setup? Probably. But I was desperate. I hacked into CryptoPeak's ancient, dusty server. Buried in the logs was a treasure trove of dirt. Vic's shady back and forth with some offshore company, showing a cool 2 million wired before the theft even happened. Then I found Sarah's emails. Fake report and a bunch of sickeningly sweet messages to Vic. "Honey, Liam is the perfect fall guy. He's so whipped for me, he won't see it coming." My soul just imploded. Sarah, the girl I loved, was sleeping with Vic and using me as their pawn. And to top it off, Mike's code was the smoking gun that redirected the 5 million. Everyone I trusted had stabbed me in the back. Then I found another email. This one even more damning. "Check the cameras." The security footage clearly showed Sarah sneaking into Vic's office late one night and jacking his password. I managed to track down Eva, a fired intern who had been raising red flags about Vic's shady dealings for months. We met up and Eva spilled all the tea. She knew about Sarah and Vic's affair and confirmed my worst fears. "They were totally trash-talking you behind your back," she said, her eyes filled with righteous anger. Apparently, Vic had been plotting this whole scam from the jump. Sarah was tampering with evidence to frame me, and Mike was trying to play both sides, blackmailing Vic while secretly planning to ditch them both and run off with the whole damn pot of gold. Then, out of nowhere, Sarah showed up at my door late one night, looking all disheveled and teary-eyed. "Liam, I was so wrong," she sobbed, reaching out to touch my hand, her eyes glistening with fake remorse. "I only love you," but I saw right through her crocodile tears. "You slept with Vic?" I said, my voice flat and devoid of emotion. She went ballistic, screaming, "You're so weak. Vic is a real man." I slammed the door in her face. Eva and I teamed up and leaked all the evidence to the police and dropped it on Reddit for the world to see. The post blew up, racking up hundreds of thousands of upvotes. The title? "Framed IT Guy Exposes $5 million Heist and Cheating Girlfriend." The comments section was a glorious dumpster fire. "Sarah is a snake. Vic's a boss." Memes of Sarah and Vic in clown makeup were everywhere. The cops finally cuffed them and hauled them away. Sarah was bawling her eyes out in the back of the police car, while Vic just shrugged and told her, "I don't need you anymore." The wallets were frozen, the stolen cash was recovered, and CryptoPeak went belly up. I ended up with a cool 25 grand, a sweet gig in cybersecurity, and the legendary title of Reddit Revenge King. Eva started a blog detailing the whole saga. My heart got stomped on and left for dead, but in a weird way I was reborn. Lesson learned: never trust anyone blindly. Always do your own digging. This revenge wasn't just for me. It was for everyone who's ever been betrayed. Justice, as they say, is best served ice cold. And in this case, it tasted pretty damn sweet.